Hi there, this is Shuyok Chaba, and this lesson is for week 6 of Introduction to Music Production at Coursera.org. This week, I will be giving an overview of the Prologue synthesizer that comes with Cubase 5. Prologue is integrated into Cubase as a VST instrument, so it takes MIDI data as input and outputs audio data. Here I have a simple sample project where I imported some MIDI data. Let me show you how it sounds like. Okay, so let me open up Prologue and show you where the different controls can be found. This is the interface of Prologue. In the top you can see the oscillator sections. There are actually 3 oscillator sections that you can combine, put one on top of the other. You can set the relative volumes. For this presentation I will only be using the first one. Here I can set the shape of the waves coming out. And the notable difference between this and the one seen in the presentation is that here the view is not an oscilloscope view, but it is the spectrum analyzer view, so I can see the relative levels of the bass frequency and all the upper harmonics. So as you can see, if I set it to a sine, it will be energy at just the bass frequency, but if I choose another, it will add upper harmonics. Let's try out a few different settings. Okay, so here in the middle you can see the filter section. These buttons control the type. As you can see, you have high pass, low pass for 12 dB and 24 dB. And in the middle you can set the cutoff frequency. The filter resonance is set with this emphasis knob. Okay, so now I have a low pass filter set up at 20 kHz, which means it is basically doing nothing. Let me show you a sweep. Okay, so this filter section doesn't give us any extra visual aids, but as you can see it's fairly straightforward to use. Moving on to the right is this amplifier section, where I can set the panning and the main volume. This should be enough for a basic overview of this main section, and down here you can see some extras, the first of which would be the envelope section. Now this is very similar to what we saw in the presentations, other than the fact that this synth actually has 4 envelopes, so you can set them differently. For each you have the 4 main sliders for attack, decay, release, and sustain, but I can also drag and drop on this interface. So let's try out a few different settings of these envelope parameters. The other notable extra section is the LFO section. Now this is much less hardwired than what we saw in the lecture. This LFO is actually very powerful. So I will play around a little bit by adding an LFO to the oscillator's pitch and, for example, the panning. Okay, so I think that about wraps it up. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. Thanks to all the viewers. Thanks to Loudon for this course. It's been great. I think we've all learned a lot, and I welcome any feedback. See you later.